OpenAI files for a $1 trillion IPO the same week Florida's Attorney General sues the company and names Sam Altman personally. This is Musk v. Altman Daily. Today, the IPO filing, the first state AG suit on AI safety, and why each one makes the other harder to ignore.
Two legal venues, one company, 1 week. I've been waiting for someone other than Musk to swing at this.
Easy, Devin. Let's start with what's actually in the filing before we start seating defendants. So, the S1, a confidential filing with the SEC, and the number that jumps out is this. OpenAI is burning $1.22 for every dollar of revenue, while targeting a $1 trillion valuation.
122 on the dollar. The pitch deck math is now sworn to the SEC. What does a regulator even do with a company built to lose money on purpose?
Here's the legal distinction that matters. A press release can spin. An S1 has to disclose. Pending state litigation is a material risk item, so Florida's suit belongs in the risk factors section investors actually read.
So if that S1 says the litigation's resolved, while Tallahassee is actively filing, does that disclosure hold up?
That's the kind of question that gets an S1 amended. Different evidentiary standard, too. Brockman swore to a $50 billion compute figure in court. The SEC wants its own asset valuations. Watch whether those numbers reconcile.
And Florida names Altman himself, not just the entity. That's a different receipt. Does putting his name on the complaint actually change the nonprofit to for-profit liability picture? Or is this a state AG hunting headline?
Honestly, it's some of both. Symbolically, it pulls accountability from the institution onto the individual. First time a state AG has done that. Legally, naming him personally is a much steeper climb than naming the company.
Florida's calling this first in the nation on AI safety. But does a state AG even have standing to chase what a federal jury in Oakland never reached?
That's the test. The Oakland verdict closed on timing, not the merits. It left the charitable assets question open. Florida is the first concrete plaintiff to walk into that opening. The open question for me is whether Florida's swinging at the same unanswered charitable obligation theory or a genuinely different one, because the suit's framed around safety, not just charity law conversion.
Either way, the structure no court has blessed is now getting squeezed from two sides at once. The SEC on one side, a state AG on the other. Musk winning is no longer the only story. Can OpenAI go public while the charity fight is live in two venues?
OpenTools writes,
OpenAI has confidentially filed its S1 with the SEC, joining Anthropic and SpaceX in AI's public market moment. The $852 billion company loses $1.22 for every dollar of revenue, but is targeting a Q4 2026 listing at up to $1 trillion.
Let's be precise about what landed June 9th. OpenAI confirmed it filed its S1 confidentially with the SEC. Securities filing rules apply now, not press release or pitch deck rules.
And in the company's own words, per CNBC, quote, "We expect it to leak, so we're just announcing it." That's the most honest sentence I've heard out of them all year.
That nonprofit to public benefit conversion we've been following now carries a reported $1 trillion target and a Q4 2026 window. The structure's about to face investors, not just a courtroom.
An $852 billion company losing $1.22 for every dollar it makes, while reaching for $1 trillion. What does the SEC even do with a business engineered to bleed on purpose?
From Maria Ramsey at TechTimes.
A new and aggressive form of AI accountability is taking shape, and it is coming from state attorneys general rather than Washington. Florida Attorney General James Uthmeier has filed what he called the first-in-the-nation state-led lawsuit against OpenAI and Chief Executive Sam Altman, a 10-count complaint that, notably, seeks to hold Altman personally responsible for alleged harms to Floridians.
Tallahassee. That's the new address for the charity law fight that walked out of Oakland. And Florida AG James Uthmeier is naming Sam Altman personally, not just OpenAI.
The complaint runs 10 counts, including deceptive trade practices, negligence, strict liability, and fraudulent misrepresentation. And yes, the AG calls it the first state-led suit against OpenAI, meaning no court has yet tested whether consumer protection law reaches an AI company and its CEO.
So does a state AG even have standing to chase what a federal jury never ruled on? Because this lands the same week as the IPO filing we just hit.
Here's the part that matters, Devin. Pending state litigation is a material risk. Investors reading that S1 will see Florida in the risk factors section. That's a very different kind of visibility than a press conference in Tallahassee.
Right. You can't tell the SEC litigation resolved on Tuesday and have an AG filing 10 counts against your CEO on Wednesday.
Careful, though. Naming Altman personally is legally aggressive, but it's a long way from a verdict. Symbolically loud, doctrinally untested. Both things are true.
Have a tip, a correction, or a story you think we should follow on Musk v. Altman Daily? Send it to Musk v. Altman Daily at lanternpodcasts.com. We read every note. If you want to dig deeper, we've put links to every story from today's briefing in the show notes. Follow the ones that caught your ear, and you'll find the original reporting there. That's Musk v. Altman Daily for today. This is a Lantern podcast.